We all know the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I know I was told to repeat it to myself as a girl growing up. The reality is, though, words can be like a gateway drug. They may seem harmless at the time, but they open the door to much more dangerous behavior. And that's evident when you listen to how kids treat each other, and especially the way they treat girls today. It's shocking, sexist, just plain mean. It's also everywhere. Is bitch and slut still common words for?
Yeah.
Young people are constantly bombarded by derogatory dialogue that breaks women and girls down. Whether it's equating her body parts with her identity, judging her sexual experience, or measuring her worth based solely on her looks, teens have said and heard it all.
When I hear friends talking about if they like a girl, it's never for the right reason. They'll like a girl because she's pretty.
The problem is most don't think twice about it. I sat down with a group of high school and college students from the Wausau area to find out just how pervasive and hurtful this language is.
It's just like really kind of depressing sometimes, you know, because you don't always fit the guy's standards, and then if you like the guy, they don't see who you actually are.
That objectification also translates to how people react to sex. Studies show both girls and guys are equally sexually active in high school, but their peers often shame one and reward the other.
He hit a home run.
Or like they banged her.
It's predominantly described from the guy's point of view. She's a goal for him to chase. He's a hero if he succeeds in obtaining it. Sometimes no matter how he does that.
I can think of a couple people right off the bat that have done that.
Get a girl drunk so that she'll have sex with them?
They try to, yeah.
If it's okay to say it, it might be okay to actually do it.
Children's abuse advocate Lauren Stark says the more we laugh off sexual assault in our day-to-day speech, the more desensitized we are when those crimes occur in real life.
Saying things like, oh, she's such a slut, can also reinforce that violence, that it's okay for a girl to be called a slut, and therefore it's okay for that man to take advantage of her if she does end up getting raped because it somehow is her fault.
It's no wonder females 16 to 24 experience the highest rates of rape. For example, the phrase, I put that bitch in her place. What's the initial reaction?
It's disrespectful. I mean, if you're gonna say that, it's like that guy's basically using you or he doesn't respect you at all.
The same argument applies to phrases that imply it's okay to use violence against your girlfriend.
If verbal abuse and those put downs and saying things like that become so normalized over time that when that physical action actually starts and when someone actually does punch you to put you in your place, then it can become more normalized too, and it seems okay from the abuser's point.
Do you know anyone who's been in some kind of violent relationship or even emotionally or psychologically abusive?
Yeah.
That's pretty shocking. 100% of you. But their responses aren't as surprising when you look at the numbers. Approximately 1 in 3 adolescent girls is a victim of domestic abuse. Those statistics have recently played out in our own backyard. 19-year-old Maisie McCullough from Marshfield had her neck slashed and back stabbed. The father of her child is now behind bars accused of her murder. And 20-year-old Lee Zhang of Weston took a bullet to the neck. Her boyfriend is charged with pulling the trigger.
You think of an epidemic as a disease that spreads, and I certainly see that in our own community.
So how did we get here?
Girls get the message from very early on that what's most important is how they look.
A 2011 documentary called Misrepresentation blames the media.
And boys get the message that this is what's important about girls.
The panel of experts says not only are girls told to be sweet, sexy, and submissive, guys have it rough too. They're expected to be hyper-masculine, aggressive, and emotionally detached. A combination that spells out why there is so much self-destructive dating within an age group that is so vulnerable to those messages.
How are we supposed to create a culture change? How are we supposed to end violence if our own language and the own way that we talk to women and talk about women and men isn't reinforcing healthy relationships?
The answer will certainly take time, but these kids have a good start.
If you want to see the change in the world, you got to be the change.
And do you think after our discussion now that maybe you guys will start to change a little, just even if you hear a friend say some of the bad words we were talking about?
You'll definitely think about it more.
You'll think about what you say before you say it.
Now, there are steps being taken to stop the violence. Lauren Stark, that children's abuse advocate, goes to the high schools in Wausau several times a year to show students what unhealthy and healthy relationships look like. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, not just from the kids and also from their parents and teachers, but just starting this discussion can help.